say hello to Donald and his friends as they sail by.
Let's begin our adventure through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Today we're going to kick off our 2-week trip in the Little Ituri Forest. Here in the Little Ituri, animals are pretty shy, so they like to use the trees to blend in. I think I see our first friend over here to the left. Oh, first two. Those are the Greater Kudu. Greater Kudu. They are females, and you can tell because they don't have any horns on top of their head, unlike the males who have those twisty horns. To our right, over there, is the okapi with the zebra stripes on their behinds over there. They're first cousins to the giraffe. They're actually not related to the zebra at all, despite the looks of those stripes. You might see a very dark bongo over here to the right on top of the hill. It's going to be the most dominant bongo. The bongo has a very appropriate nickname. It is the ghost of the Little Ituri Forest. They get this nickname because they travel very discreetly and quietly throughout the forest. Oh, to our left, friends, is a black rhino, using their natural camouflage to blend in and look like a rock. But that is not a rock, it is a black rhino. They're the darkest of the rhino species, also the smallest. Differing from other rhinos, they have a pointed upper lip, which you can see protruding a little bit over there. They can gallop like a horse. That's their favorite way to transport throughout the forest, but whenever they gallop, they make no sound at all. I think I see a couple of feathered friends over here to our left, just past the bamboo over here. Those are the saddle-billed storks. They have inverted knees. You can kind of see them over there. Their shins are facing in front of them. That means they're kneeling down. Their knees bend the opposite way that ours do. They've also got a wingspan of 9 feet wide. That's wider than the average adult male is tall. Most beautiful birds don't have any vocal cords, but they can knock their beaks. And that acts like a built-in alarm system and lets other animals know that there might be danger afoot. We're leaving the Little Ituri Forest. We're now crossing on into the Safi River. Great place for hydration for our animal friends. To our left is a whole bloat of hippos, in case you didn't see those over there. A bloat of hippos is what a herd of hippos is called. You might be able to see one of the baby hippos just barely peeking its head out on top of its mom over there. That's Greta. Hippos are herbivores. That means they only eat plants. They have some pretty large jaws, but inside of those large jaws are flat teeth. Perfect for grinding down the plants that make up their diet. They need to eat a lot of plants to stay satiated, about 20 tons of plants. Those are Nile crocodiles to our left. They can go for a very long time without eating a single bite of food, about 4 weeks. But they get hangry, like we all do, so they prefer to have about 1 large meal per week. Whenever they eat that 1 large weekly meal, they can consume up to half their body weight in food. It's a lot of food. They have a pretty wide range of foods that make up their diet, including, but not limited to, whole live chickens, bones and all. Their teeth can chew right through bones. To the right over here is a Baobob Tree. That Baobob Tree is known as the Tree of Life. It can store water in its trunks that other animals can drink, which definitely comes in handy here in the savannah. Now, it doesn't rain all that much here in the savannah. You can probably tell based on the terrain. Very dusty, very dry, pretty susceptible to forest fires. So animals need as much hydration as they can get. And they can access that hydration through the trunk of the Baobob tree. That's right, Explorer, there is a zebra over here to the right. That's a Hartman's Mountain zebra grazing away over there. Now, zebras graze for about 60% of their day. And because of this, their teeth never stop growing. They just grow very slowly all of their lives. And I'm sure you saw towards the back over there a couple more familiar faces. Those are giraffes, more specifically Maasai giraffes. And they are very, very tall. They're very tall, but did you know that we have the same number of cervical vertebrae as the giraffe? 7. But their vertebrae is much taller than ours, much wider. And that height definitely comes in handy to reach all the way up to reach those leaves on the trees that make up all of their diet. Over here to the left is a small pack of African wild dogs. A couple under the den and a couple in front of the den over there. They look pretty tuckered out. They have a nickname, that is the painted dog. Definitely makes sense based on their coats. Looks like somebody painted them, that beautiful calico color. And just like how no two humans have quite the same fingerprint, no two of the African wild dogs have the same colored coat. They're all different. And that's how they tell one another apart. To our right and left are some termite mounds, great scratching posts for animals. Our friend the giraffe can scratch their ossicones on these scratching posts. Those are the horns on top of their head. You can see this giraffe has some pretty dark spots. And the darker the spots on the giraffe, the older the giraffe might be. Giraffes give birth standing up, and the babies have a pretty long way down before they hit the ground, about 6 feet. I know that sounds like a really rough way to enter the world. They can actually handle it. It kickstarts their hearts. And giraffes are literal big-hearted creatures. They have very large hearts. The average adult giraffe's heart is about 25 pounds and can be up to 2.5 feet wide. Get a little bit better view of the zebra over here to the right as well. And I bet you're asking the question, are they black with white stripes or white with black stripes? If you take a look at their nose, you can tell they are black with white stripes. Black nose equals black with white stripes. It's like some of our friends might be crossing over here. I hope we don't get stuck in a giraffe jam. But there are a lot of giraffes around here. I'd say there's a whole tower of Maasai giraffes. That means a herd of Maasai giraffes. And the word tower definitely makes sense because they tower over everybody in the animal kingdom. Even the babies tower over everybody. The average giraffe baby is about 6 feet tall. Now there are a couple more animals over here to the right in the far distance past this lovely tower of giraffes. You can see a couple of Springbok Antelopes, the very tiny ones, as well as some Ankoli cattle with the very large horns, and Wildebeests in the far corner. The Springbok, just like their name suggests, can spring very far forward, up to 6 feet across when standing, 13 feet across when they get some momentum. That springing motion is called pronking. They can pronk right through this truck if they wanted to. A few more giraffes over here to the left and a few more wildebeests. Maybe just one giraffe. The word wildebeest is Afrikaans for wild beast. And that is a very fitting name. They have a very wild, otherworldly looking exterior. You can see a whole confusion of them over there to the right. That's a herd of wildebeests. And they get the nickname Confusion because of how they sleep. They sleep in a pretty interesting way, in rows facing all different directions. This way, if an animal attacks them while they're resting or sleeping, they can get up very quickly and scatter about in all different directions. This way they don't bump into each other. Very confusing for other predators who might try to hurt them. To the right, I'm sure you see an African elephant using his long trunk to drink from the water.
Ashley, look at mine.
They have very special trunks. They have more muscles in their trunks than we do in our entire bodies. To our left, you can see a couple of monkeys as well. Those are mandrill monkeys to our left. As you can see, they use their trunks in a couple of different ways, one of them being drinking all that water. They can also use them to grab dirt from the ground and spray that dirt all over their backs. That acts as a natural sunscreen. They can use it to feed themselves as well. And their trunks are so articulate that they can pick up a single blade of grass. But that was an adult male African elephant. You know how we can tell? Because he's all by himself. Adult male African elephants are kicked out of their herds at age 13. Live a life of solitude. But in contrast, those females are the social butterflies of the herd. They live with their young for just about all their lives. In fact, they're so social that they are the leaders of the herd. The oldest adult female is going to be the matriarch, or the female leader of the herd. To our right and left is some red clay. A little bit further down in that red clay over here to the right are a couple of elephant tusk marks. Elephants actually eat this red clay. It's a great source of vitamins and minerals they might not get from their diet. Just like how we might supplement a vitamin C tablet. We're not getting enough of that in our food. To our left are a few more African elephants. Maybe a little bit more than a few. Perhaps a whole parade of African elephants over here to our left. You can see those ears a little bit better. Their ears are actually in the shape of Africa, and they're very sensitive. You can hear the tiniest buzzing of a bee from miles away. You can see those Ankole cattle a little bit better over there to our right as well, with the very large horns. They're also known as the Watusi cattle. They were originally domesticated by the Watusi tribe. And in some parts of Africa, they're a sign of wealth. So the more Ankole cattle you have, the wealthier you might appear. But moving right along, over here to the left is a flamboyance of flamingos.
There's a baby flamingo.
And some ducklings. Good eye, Explorer.
There's a baby flamingo.
Now these flamingos are known as the Greater Flamingo. They're the largest in the species and the lightest pink as well. They get that pink in their feathers and on their legs from a shrimp that makes up most of their diet. It's called brine shrimp. Inside that brine shrimp is a substance called beta-carotene. That is what turns them that lovely shade of pink.
Oh, look, acid streak up here.
However, they're not born pink. They're born black, white, and gray, and slowly turn pink over time. Wow, explorers, over here to the left is a crash of white rhinos. A herd of white rhinos is called a crash because they don't have the best eyesight and they tend to crash into things. You can see a couple of the babies over there to the left. They're very, very special because white rhinos are the most endangered in the species. Unfortunately, poachers hunt them because their horns are very, very high in value. Funny thing about their horns, they're made out of the same stuff as our fingernails. That's called keratin. And just like how we can file our fingernails, they can file their horns. There are some rhino orphanages in Africa that take in rhinos and actually file down their horns so that they're less likely to be poached by poachers. Speaking of purring sound, we've made it to Kopi Rock. A great place for lions to keep watch over their territory. All the different levels over here in Kopi provide different perspectives. That way lions can see who's coming in and who is leaving their territory as well.
There it is, right here.
Daddy. Yeah, but where is
Really, really small. The other ones are still small, but they are full-grown adults. Not as many of them today. They're probably inside taking a nap. But the goats, they help provide the village with milk for nutrition. And the farmers are able to sell that milk for some profit and economic purposes.